Here's what most people assume. They assume that having few friends means you're socially struggling, that you're shy or scared, or that something happened to make you pull away from people. And sometimes, yes, that can be true. But psychologists have noticed something far more interesting. There's a significant group of people who have small social circles, not because they can't connect, but because they choose not to settle for shallow ones. Research in social psychology suggests that human beings vary enormously in what's called their social bandwidth. Some people are energized by constant connection. They need a crowd to feel alive. But others, and this is where it gets interesting, actually experience social interaction as a kind of energy expenditure. Every conversation, every social obligation, every small talk exchange costs them something. And their brain is very selective about where that energy goes. This isn't dysfunction. This is a different wiring entirely. But here's the thing, that's not even the deepest layer of this, because there's something psychologists have started calling quality over quantity bonding, and it changes the entire conversation. Most people collect friends the way they collect followers, broadly, casually, a face for every occasion. But people with very few friends tend to bond differently. When they let someone in, they really let them in. They remember what you said 3 months ago. They think about your problems when you're not around. They show up in ways that most popular people never do. Psychologists call this selective attachment, and it's actually associated with higher emotional intelligence. There's also the introversion piece, which is widely misunderstood. Introversion doesn't mean you dislike people. It means your nervous system processes social stimulation more intensely. Where an extrovert feels charged by a party, an introvert walks away from that same party feeling drained, even if they genuinely enjoyed it. Add high self awareness to that, and what happens? You become very conscious of which relationships feel real and which ones feel like performance. And once you see that difference, you can't unsee it. Small talk starts to feel almost unbearable. Surface level friendships feel hollow. You'd rather sit in silence with one person who truly knows you than laugh loudly in a room full of strangers. That's not antisocial. That's a deeply human need for meaning over noise. Think back to school. While other kids were forming big, chaotic friend groups, maybe you had one person you were close to, one person who actually got you. And when that person wasn't around, you were fine alone, maybe even preferred it. At work, it's the same pattern. You're polite, professional, people like you well enough. But after hours, you're not texting the group chat. You're not joining the after work drinks every time, and people start to wonder about you because they can't quite figure you out. Then there's social media. Modern culture has turned friendship into a performance, follower counts, tagged photos, public displays of togetherness. And if your life doesn't look like that, it's easy to feel invisible, or worse, defective. But here's the quiet truth that no one talks about enough. Having many friends is not the same as being deeply known by anyone. Some of the loneliest people on earth are surrounded by people. They're at every party. They have hundreds of contacts in their phone. They're always busy. And yet, there isn't a single person on that list who knows what they're truly afraid of, who they really are behind the persona. That is a particular kind of loneliness, and it's invisible because it looks like connection. What you have, even if it's just one real relationship or right now none, is a standard. An internal standard for what connection should actually feel like. That standard isn't your flaw, it's your compass. So, if this is you, if you've spent years quietly wondering why the social math never seemed to add up for you, I want you to hear this clearly. This doesn't mean something is wrong with you. It doesn't mean you're cold or broken or destined to be alone. It may simply mean that you are wired for depth, that your nervous system knows the difference between real and performed, that you've set a bar that takes time to find people who can meet. That's rare. And in a world addicted to surface, rare is often mistaken for wrong. There's a kind of peace that comes from understanding yourself, from realizing that solitude isn't the same as loneliness, that a quiet life isn't a failed life, that one person who truly sees you is worth more than 100 who only know your name. The goal was never to collect people. The goal was always to find the ones who make you feel less like a stranger in your own life. And sometimes that journey starts not with finding the right people, but with finally understanding yourself well enough to recognize them when they arrive. If this video felt like it was describing you, you're not alone in that. There are millions of people watching this right now, thinking the exact same thing. If you want to keep exploring the psychology of who you are and how your mind works, subscribe. We go deep here every single week. And if you're curious about why highly intelligent people tend to struggle socially, that video is right there waiting for you. I'll see you in the next one.